Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It is Friday, April 30th, 2021. We are about 1/3 of the way through the year. And I'm taking a vacation day today from the day job. And that gave me a little bit of time to work on a project here for the Disquiet Junto. Disquiet Junto 0487, Carillon Quotidian. What is the Disquiet Junto? Well, it's a group, sort of the ringleader of it is Mark Wiedenbaum of Disquiet.com. He's the organizer and major domo, so it's a group in which musicians respond to fast turnaround assignments to compose, record, or share new music. The idea is to use constraints as a springboard for creativity, and it's open to anybody. You can just find out the latest weekly project comes out on Thursdays, and you just have to have it done by the close of business Monday. And all this information is out here on the Disquiet Junto FAQ if you're looking for that. And so this week's project was, Carillon Quotidian. It was a project developed by K. Jewell as part of celebration of the upcoming 500th consecutive weekly Disquiet Junto project. And so step one was identify a recurring sound in your daily life that isn't generally considered musical. Try to locate a sound that you would normally ignore. Hum of the dryer, the way the car trunk resonates when you drop it closed, the sound your boots make on certain stairs, the sound of water coming out of the kitchen tap, etc. Step two, the goal is to explore the innate musicality of the sound you identified in step one. And keep in mind that the effort may require some production techniques because you may want to try to isolate it as best as possible. Step three, make an original piece of music employing the sample you recorded in step two or the sound you decided upon in step one. Transpose the recorded sample and compose a short theme to use as the central voice in your composition. Complete your piece with other instrumental lines as needed. And then there's a background on this, which we don't need to go into. You can read that on your own if you are so inclined. And so anyway, I put mine out at SoundCloud, and then I post my track in this forum here at this website that I don't know how to pronounce, .co. And so anyway, I got this done this morning, and let me read you what it is here. So it's RF Elevator, and RF Elevator. I'll have a link to this track out here on the SoundCloud site, but I'll play it here shortly once I'm done pulling myself down there a little bit. So this is my approach. A very short track, 38 seconds. And I said, now that the weather's warmer, I'm making an effort to collect more field recordings. One downside of field recording is the risk of accidentally collecting RF interference on my recording device. It's because of these things, these cell phones, smartphones, radio frequency interference phones is kind of what I want to call them now. So the risk is accidentally collecting RF interference, especially if you carry a mobile phone and you don't have a Faraday bag, which I will have very shortly. Ordered 2 in the mail. Yeah, I guess you have to order 2 on eBay, right? Can't just order 1, you can order 2. I'll take 2, thank you. I'll have a double shot. Okay, so every time I visit John Harnish at his apartment in Cedar Rapids, I try to record my elevator ride up. He lives on the 11th floor, and the sound is always different because the 2 elevators that are right next to each other are usually working at the same time. But the other elevator is beeping and whirring at a different pace and more quietly in the background. So you get the main beep of the elevator, and then you get like usually a quieter secondary beeping opening of the doors at some other point in the elevator shaft, and the mechanics, the whirring of the mechanics. You don't really notice that when you're in an elevator. Maybe some people do notice that when they're in an elevator, but I kind of tune it out or whatever. But when you're listening, particularly on good headphones, not like these, but something like a Grado. What do we got there? My Grado SR80Es, made in America, by the way. When you're listening intently to that, deep listening, intently, it's you hear so much more. It's really kind of That's my thing. What can I say? Anyway, hold on here. A recent recording I made was ruined by RF interference, but I kept it around mainly because of what Andy Warhol said about artistic leftovers in the philosophy of Andy Warhol. He said, quote, "I always like to work on the leftovers, doing leftover things that were discarded, that everybody knew was no good, were no good. I always thought they had good potential." Did I bumble that quote enough? I guess I don't know. Anyway, so this track here, the initial edit, the first 5 seconds is that bit of RF interference showing up in the field recording. So it appears at the start of the piece. It's me walking into the elevator for 5 seconds, but there's this RF interference buzzing that's in the recording. And that just, when I heard that, it just upset me because you hear that later on. I don't hear that because when I'm recording, I don't have earbuds, headphones on. I can't hear that. So I've got my audio recorder out there, and it's a little too close in proximity to my smartphone, which is in my pocket. We'll solve that. We should solve that with the Faraday bag soon. And so anyway, that initial 5-second edit is looped all the way through. After 5 seconds, I added a Korg IMS-20 for iPad loop that I made over 10 years ago that I've saved off, and that's played 3 times. That loop is played 3 times in the piece. And then I took edits of the RF interference loop, just a specific part of that, multi-tracked them, stacking them together in the throughout the piece, and then in the final few seconds after the Korg loop ends for a blaze of cacophony. Anyway, it's just a snapshot, but this little piece has a funky, industrial, jazzy thing going on. And you'll see the photo here on this as well. I think it's appropriate for this piece. There it is up here. Let's see if we can get so that particular image was just taken a few nights ago when they had the Alliant Energy building lit up. They have lights on about the second floor that shoot up, and they can choose different colors. And so this was a very fluorescent rainbow type of thing. It looked very nice. And but John's window was reflecting off light from the inside, so that was sort of like RF interference, I guess. You could, and so I couldn't quite angle that. So I got this thing here that looks like, I don't know, Space Invaders, Aliens, the Northern Lights, something like that. I don't know. Kind of a neat effect. So those sorts of things, you want something in particular. I want the elevator sound. I want a photo of the Alliant Energy building from the 11th floor. But then you have all these other things that interfere along the way. And I guess at some point you have to become accepting of that sort of stuff. Integrate that into your art or whatever. So what else do I say here? Yes, wear good headphones when listening. If you're just watching this on your phone or on your TV, put a pair of headphones on and do a little bit of listening on this. And then, of course, I have links over here to the 487th weekly Disquiet Junto project and more information at the Disquiet Junto. So let me go ahead and shut up here for a few seconds, and I'm going to play the track. And I might play the track. I might come back in real quick and then play the track a second. It's only 38 seconds. But here we go. Always have to be careful with that because SoundCloud just has the worst interface. Just so terrible. It's like you can't. I wish there was like a little something down here where you could just automatically go back to the beginning or loop it, but you have to like drag this back here and then and then what happens is if you don't stop it here at the end, then it autoplays something that you have absolutely no interest in. It's horrendous. SoundCloud used to be such a wonderful application, and they just ruined it years ago. Let's revise it. It'll be neater and better. It sucks. It's terrible. But that's where I publish my Disquiet Junto pieces. I have to put up with it, right? What can I say? But not like they're going to listen to me. I used to be a pro customer. I used to pay, what was it, $135 a year or whatever for pro access. And then they just started messing with stuff. And I'm just like, I'm out of here. I'll take the freebie account. I know it's a bit rude, but whatever. So anyway, let's listen to the track again real quick here, because you hear that. That's the RF. That's the RF interface. That's the cell phone talking to the bleeding into the audio recorder. So let's try to listen to it again here. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there just because you can hear that. The second time, the first time you probably hear the clanking and the beat and the little bass and everything like that. But in between there, you'll hear that RF interface kind of come back in. It becomes like its own little, not quite melody, but it's a filling in of that audio space here. Let me get just real quick right back. Just try to get back to the beginning here. I'll shut up and have another listen. Okay, that's enough of that. RF Elevator, Disquiet 0487 by me, Mark Rushton. Maybe eventually this will be out on the streamers. It's neat. It's kind of a neat little. It's just. Why do I do these? It's just a little. Again, it's a springboard for creativity. I'm using things that I would normally just be kind of upset about. And it's like kicking myself. How do I get rid of this buzzing sound in here? Well, here's a way I can use that buzzing sound in an artistic way. You know, it's I don't know how you describe it. It's like a learning process. It's taking things. It's like the Andy Warhol thing. It's taking things that you would normally want to discard or you'd be upset with, and so you integrate that into your whatever art, recording art, sound art, and make that, and you build with that. And you become appreciative of that sort of stuff. And that, again, that makes it kind of unique. You know, you get that sound in there. It's again, most people would think that's an annoyance or whatever. And maybe that's how I used to think of it too. And this is just like an extra thing. Now I'm starting to ramble and I don't want to have to do this video again. So I think I'll just cut it off right here. Anyway, that's it for today. April 30th, Friday, April 30th, 2021. And links in the description. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for enduring. Thanks for putting up with me.